Hello, my beautiful, amazing, wonderful Virgo family. I am, as always, so curious and excited to sit with you, feel through January 2022, see what we have moving through with us. It is a really interesting month. There's a lot of energy that's moving in harmony with you in January because it is Capricorn season. And this year we have the sun in Capricorn, a new moon in Capricorn, Venus doing her retrograde in Capricorn, as well as Mars will move into Capricorn. And we have a Mercury retrograde that begins in Aquarius on the 14th, but moves back into Capricorn on the 25th. So we have a ton of heart-based energy for Virgos in the Capricorn season in general. And, heart-based energy, what does that even mean? Well, first of all this earth energy is going to be working with you, moving with you, flowing with you, allowing for growth and movement forward. And I just want to clarify that yes, there is a Venus retrograde. That doesn't mean that life isn't actually getting clearer, because what I have found is that Venus retrograde helps us to get clearer on what we really want. And I found this is one of the bigger modalities of growth and change in our lives. So it's not so much about getting stalled out or stuck or reverting into something. It's much more about really understanding and seeing what it is we want to take with us moving forward. The Venus cycle is about rebirth when she's in retrograde. Mercury retrograde is also just a tune-up, right? So we have all that energy moving through Capricorn, but we also have something really interesting happening this month. First of all, this is our first full month of Jupiter in Pisces, your opposing sign. And I actually really love this for Virgo, because when Jupiter is always like good news, right? And so when he's opposing you here in Pisces, what this is great for is amplifying relationships, love, connection, community, conversations, deepening all of that. It's deeply spiritual. It's going to flow so well with you. While it is in opposition, what it does is amplifies your relationship energies and really makes it so beautiful. This is all about expansion and play. Super exciting year for you when it comes to Jupiter. The other awesome thing that is happening is the North Node, who has been in Gemini for about a year and a half, little more, is moving into Taurus, your other fellow Earth sign. And this is such good news for Virgo, because the note that came for me with this North Node moving into Taurus on the 19th is that, Virgo, like, y'all are detail-oriented people, and I guess I'm a Virgo moon, so why am I talking about this like I'm not involved in this situation? We like our details. Mercury ruled sign, right? And we are having a Mercury retrograde, but I feel like people with Mercury ruled signs just get the Mercury vibes. Like, I feel less stressed about you all as Mercury during Mercury retrograde than I do other people who just don't get Mercury's vibe. Regardless, detail oriented. And in fact, the Gemini North Node that we were having for a year and a half was very detail oriented. It was very much about focusing in on those details and like trying to like understand life from the here and now, present in the details, which was amplifying Virgo energy in a way. But with the North Node moving into Taurus, this is big picture energy for you all. This is about expanding your vision out to the bigger questions, ideas, hopes, dreams, whatever that you have. And what I would say, if you have been kind of more detail oriented, detail focused, just kind of having to kind of really focus on the little details in your home environment or whatever for a while this last year and a half, it takes a little practice to relax back into that bigger picture, kind of, we'll see what happens, float through it. And of course, I think both of these elements, the detail focused element where we are here, we are present, we're doing those little details that make our lives what they are, as well as the big picture, we need both of them in balance, right? But if we have only been doing the detail oriented stuff, it takes practice to get back into that expanded, dreamy vision. And both the Jupiter transit and the North Node transit for you are going to be very much about you practicing into big picture thinking and relaxed thinking, deeper trust in the universe thinking. 3 of Wands, there you go, right out of the gate. And I'm telling you, January readings so far, I've done quite a few of them. There is this like potent I mean, I guess the word is positivity, but what I see it as is kind of like this breakthrough energy. Two of Swords. Like things just being illuminated and making sense in ways that they haven't for a while. But yes, I think that this is going to be a month, 9 of Pentacles, love it, of you practicing back into that big vision. Because guess what? I think January, you are going to be getting huge hits about that way bigger picture. And what's so great about playing with the bigger picture, where you have to be a little more relaxed because you don't know the whys and the hows. You don't know the boxes you're going to need to check yet. And judgment, you know, just for fun, we want to throw in a little bit of a deeper spiritual card. You don't want to keep it too light and fun, right? We want to make sure we want to keep it balanced. The great thing about working with that bigger picture is that you get these hits about who you're becoming in a way that nothing else does. So it can be really a fantastic way to access parts of yourself that aren't quite ready to come into those details, those whys, those hows, the immediate future, but that are like literally there with you. I'm also pulling a card from my Animal Totem Tarot, and we kind of got an intense one. It's the 5 of Cups, the capybara. Little sweeties. I'm not loving the visual on that card actually, but there's a beautiful message to this card. We'll get into it. So let's get into these cards, feel through what we have intuitively going on here with all of this keep in mind. First of all, 3 of Wands. This card shows up and its subtitle is often known as Your Ships Are Coming In. And this is a card that pairs very well with the 2 of Wands, where you have a merchant who's looking out to sea, knowing that he has sent, you know, his ships out into the world and he won't see them for months or years. And the 3 of Wands is the next part of that, where the ships have returned. Those wishes, those dreams, those energies that have been put out there are returning and being made apparent, and he can see the ships in the harbor, and you can maybe see them there if you're looking. So the 3 of Wands is about a longer process. It's about when we have maybe had a desire, a wish, an urge, a longing, and we've been like putting that longing, that wish, that urge out there into the world, and we've been wondering when we'll ever hear or see about it again. And the 3 of Wands is that, oh, finally, I know I'm allowed to move forward on this thing. Finally, I know I'm allowed to open that door. So the 3 of Wands right already in January, it's heralding that there is going to be openings going on for you in big ways. Now, of course, that's immediately met by the 2 of Swords, which is about this woman who is blindfolded, sitting, unable to move. But this is what's interesting about 2 of Swords. To me, 2 of Swords denotes inherently that there are choices to be made. There's movement to be made in life. It's not a time where you're like, oh, I have nothing to do and I'm just sitting here and I don't know what's going to happen next. 2 of Swords means that there are things that you are mulling over and trying to get a handle on so that you make decisions that are right for you. And 2 of Swords normally for me, it's much simpler and less dramatic than I think sometimes this card comes off as. Because what it is really a reminder to, when you feel maybe like a little overwhelmed because your ships are coming in, because doors are opening, because there are options starting to pop up, and you're starting to be like, oh my gosh, how am I going to pick the right thing for this big vision of my year? The 2 of Swords is a reminder that rather than trying to run around doing everything, trying to get the answer, to sit down quietly and just check in with your body, check in with your spirit, and then make movement. Because the 2 of Swords is often also associated with justice, and justice often wears a blindfold because she is not ruling from the superficial looks of, right? Like the way that a person looks or appears, but she's judging from a deeper truth. And so, like I said, 2 of Swords normally denotes to me that there are decisions to be made. There are pathways opening up. And what we need to do is make sure that in that we just create enough little space for us to hear what we may need so that we make the choice that is right for us. But overall, this 2 of Swords is surrounded by like these very sunny, joyful cards, right? The 3 of Wands, which is bringing in energy, and the 9 of Pentacles, which is about you being taken care of. For me, the 9 of Pentacles is very much that deep, essential feeling that, you know, whatever you choose here, You're taken care of. It's okay. You can relax. You don't need to hold yourself so tight. You are allowed to relax into some deeper, deeper, deeper self-trust in this whole process. I think too, we can get a little jittery in January, thinking about what we need to master, what we need to do in the year, both on a practical level and maybe on a spiritual or a more esoteric level. We need to somehow have it mastered, sorted, understood, clenched onto. But I think it's really the other way around. And during this Venus and Mercury retrograde season, during this time of deep revitalization and deep connection into where we're really meant to be heading, we want to actually, in those moments when it feels like what we need to do is get really tight and obsess and worry, we need to practice just having a physical sense of relaxation so that we can allow the deeper wisdom to move through. So there's a reminder here that things are working out, so don't get scared. Now, we do have some deeper cards coming here at the end of our reading, but I think this makes sense. January is a big shift month. We have Venus being reborn as she meets the sun and finishes the second half of her retrograde. We have the North Node moving into Taurus. We're getting used to Jupiter and Pisces. We're really ending huge energetic transits that are much bigger than it being a calendar year or not. And with that comes the importance, I think, which it's not so much the importance of like jumpstarting every single project we've ever thought of before in our lives. The practice is in making sure that we are releasing any emotion we don't need to bring with us. And that is what judgment is all about. Venus is conjunct Pluto a few times during this retrograde period. And judgment is often associated with Pluto because it's about going into the underworld and coming back up, right? Being transformed, changing shape. And part of what's going on there is us releasing and feeling and expressing any parts of ourselves that need that expression, that release, that grace, that peace that we wish on it so that we can move forward. These are visions of kind of the ghosts of the past, the parts of ourselves that need that grace and peace and forgiveness within ourselves. And it could have to do with other people that you want to forgive or release. But I think it's just as important that we do this within ourselves and for ourselves, the parts of ourselves that we have judged, that we have felt needed to do things better, that we felt needed to take better charge of 2021 or be more extroverted or to be more productive or to be more something, right? We torture ourselves about what we could have done if we had just done it better. And this is a really, really important time to make peace and love on who you were. You did the best, the absolute best with what you had at hand in the time that everything was going down. You have done the best you could. And did we all make mistakes? Sure. I'm sure all of us could point out the mistakes we've made and the imperfections we've had. But if we can't find some peace with that, we'll torture ourselves forever and we'll block our energy. So judgment is really about taking care of any unfinished business and allowing ourselves to process any past that doesn't need to come with us moving into the new year. Now, we have another intense card here. I'm almost tempted to pull a final card. I think I will actually, with the Five of Cups. And these are the capybaras. And it's just, Five of Cups in traditional tarot or with this card or whatever, it kind of goes hand in hand with what we were just talking about with judgment, which is that we have to, I feel like January in many ways is this interesting melding point between the grieving and the releasing that we do when we let go of an old year and the welcoming we do when we embrace a new year, and how hand in hand, like entwined these things are. It's not even like sequential, like it's, oh, you do some grieving and then the door opens. It's like these things are happening together. They're like these twin things that work in tandem, and you kind of go back and forth between the two. And that's what Five of Cups represents, is the process of like the excitement, the embrace of everything that's coming next, as well as that sense of release and grieving and all of that happens. And that's why I love the Five of Cups so much as a card, because I think it most correctly encapsulates a huge chunk of what it is to be human. We may want to deny that and say it's all these other great performances, but what we as humans are experiencing most of the time, almost all of us, is a very interesting intertwining between grief and joy. And those two are not opposites. They are very much linked and connected. Page of Swords wanted to come out, and the Roadrunner. I love Roadrunners. They're so cool. I remember a few years ago, I was going through a rough chapter in my life, and there was this Roadrunner that would come and sit on my deck every day, and it was so cool. Page of Swords, breakthroughs and clarity. And that's the thing, right? That's the thing. We can be doing all of this at once. And that is really a key characteristic of January, is that we want to be processing 2021. We want to be understanding what we've just learned with the North Node in Gemini, the South Node in Sagittarius, what we've just learned with Jupiter in Aquarius as well. And also getting excited about what's ahead. And I see that so deeply here with Virgo. And I think because you are going to be shifting into much more of this big picture thinking, it's extra important to just kind of clarify how you're feeling with everything. Now, I just have a few well wishes to send your way for this beautiful January, this beautiful, soulful, spiritual January. So here they are, and for 2022. May this be a year of true love and community. May the art and creativity pour from you. May it be a year of humor and deep laughter. Yes. May it be a time of feeling as though the light is returning. When I think about this year, some of the things that I know I want to see happen are, those deep nights of just laughter with the friends and family that you love, partners that you love, right? Like, there's nothing better in this life than those moments. And to think about art and beauty flowing through us and being explored and expanded in the world, and to think of there being a light returning after a time of deep reflection, right? These are such potent, beautiful, powerful things. And I'm so excited to see where they lead us in the Virgo family. I will be going so much deeper on all of these topics. Jupiter and Pisces, the North Node in Taurus. It's so hard to cover it all here in these readings. So if you're looking for more guidance, I do have so many more resources on Patreon and a great little community. I'd love to see you there. It's my way of being able to enunciate so much more of this stuff. You can also find me on Instagram at Sarah Vrba. There are imposters out there, so just follow the handle that I send below, and then, report any imposters that are messaging you or trying to friend you. And you can also find me on my website and my email, so I'll leave all those in the description box so you know where to find me. I will see you all very, very soon as we are in 2022 and see where this journey has led us so far. Sending you my love.